Hi everybody. I've been gone for a week or two. It is Wednesday night. I'm just a little stressed. My mom's in the hospital again. I'm gonna go check up on her cat. We just got home. And they're transferring her to another hospital. She fell today. She's okay. She's got broken vertebra. She's with good hands. And they gave her medicine. She's feeling more comfortable. I just feel bad. And I'm just coming to vent because I'm stressed out. I was going to come online today. Whoa. I was going to come online. Maybe I was going to come online and maybe do a live or another video earlier today. Yeah, so my aunt and uncle came over and they were visiting and they were hanging something up outside on a wall, a nice decorative thing he made. And she walked backwards and stepped on some rocks and lost her footing and fell. Luckily, she didn't hurt her head. She landed on her side. She had them walk her inside to her recliner. She had me come up. I came up. I'm like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine. Nothing's broken." I love my mom. I love her so much. This woman has some kind of an amazing pain tolerance. I wish I had her pain tolerance. She thought nothing was broken. Oh, I just sprained my thumb the other day. This is just so I don't re-pull it. It's fine. Don't worry. Nothing to worry about. This is nothing. Yeah. So it turns out she broke her top vertebra, three of her ribs, and has a tiny hole in her lung. So I had said, I got to talk to the doctor before, they're sending her to another hospital. I feel bad she just came back from the hospital like a month ago. So what happened was, this happened around lunchtime. And she said she was fine. I'm like, "Are you sure?" I have to go with what she tells me. She's with it. She's with it enough to be her own proxy. She's going to be sharp as a tack for years. Genetics in her family, the people are like that. They live a long time, thank God. She'll be good. I told her, "Do you want to go to the doctor?" No, I'm fine. Just let me rest for a little while." I'm like, "Okay. Do you want an ice pack, something?" And she's like, No, I don't want to move. I just want to go to take a nap." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "When do you want me to come back, check up on you? Do you need anything?" She's fine. She wanted her water. I got her all set up. She took a nap. I kept coming back to visit her every hour to 2 hours to see how she was. Finally, she texted me to come help her. She had to go to the bathroom. And when I came to see her, I said, "Okay." She was kind of slumped down, and I said, "Well, I'm going to have to put my arms," because I was in nursing school, guys, so don't worry. I wasn't going to hurt myself, and I wasn't going to hurt her. I was going to assess the situation and make sure she was safe for me to move her before I did anything. I said, "Do you feel well enough for me to put my arms underneath your armpits and lift her up and then tilt the chair up slowly so she could stand?" And I have a 4-footed, a stabilizing cane. And she just went to lift her knee up, and then she was like, "Oh," and she couldn't move, and she was all spasming. So I'm like, "I think we have to go to the hospital or the doctor." She's like, yeah, I think you're right. I'm like, can I call them to come take you? Because I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to make it worse. She's like, yeah. So I called and they came and got her and they brought her to the hospital. I'm laughing because she's so stubborn and she's like, I'm fine. Nothing's broken. I'm just sore. She's the only person I know that's like that. When I was younger, I don't know, maybe it was more recently, like in the last decade or two, she had broken her wrist. I don't know if she fell on it when she was gardening or whatever. And she's like, yeah, it's fine. It's not broken. It's sprained. The next day it was blown up. And she's like, oh, it's just a little sore. We went to the doctor. It was broken. So I wish I inherited that from her. But I wanted to update you guys because I know I haven't, I wasn't feeling good last week and I was going to rest. And I got into some bad ADHD habits where from night after night, I was up all late hours, lost track of time, messed my body clock up, messed my ADHD symptoms up, messed myself up for a week. So now I've set alarms and reminders in my phone, and now when I have a reminder that says it's bedtime, I'm going to bed. So nipping that in the bud. Mama's good. She's in a... And it's nobody's fault. It wasn't anything. I talked to my aunt and uncle. It wasn't anything anybody did. And they even said it wasn't even like her legs or her footing or being unstable or anything like that. She just walked backwards and happened to like walk on some rocks that kind of went from under her feet. It was just a freak thing. So when the doctor brought me back there, I'm like, oh, I hear she broke a vertebra. He's like, oh yeah. She broke her first vertebra and she has 3 broken ribs and a tiny hole in her lungs. I'm like, oh God. I said, I'm a little concerned. I said, because I know when you break a bone, I was in nursing school, so when you break bones, it can increase your risk for blood clots. And since she recently had some, I asked him what he thought about that. He says, I'm not really concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the vertebra. Hey, Sam. My mom's cat. You want to see him? Hi, Sammy. Oh, you're so handsome. You're so handsome. Hey, Sammy. Are you going to say hi? So I'm going to give him some attention. Hi, handsome. Are you going to come say hi? You going to come say hi to me? Come keep me company. I'm stressed out. So I told my fiance, I'm like, I said, baby, we got to stop at the grocery store on the way home. He goes, what? I said, yes, I need a pie now. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I eat sugar. And I'm stressed. I'm so stressed. I'm fine now that I got to talk to them, but... To anyone who is new here, my name is Sherry. I do content on being an adult with ADHD and what I'm doing to help me with my symptoms. This update will not make very much sense to you if you haven't been watching my videos. Mom's okay. Had a little bit of a scare. They said she's going to be fine. So they said to call in the morning. He's sticking his tail. Hi. Hi. Let's say hi. Let's say hi. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Sammy. Sammy, 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 Sammy. Sammy. So yeah, I'll be back to doing content soon. So if I was going to do a video this week. I already decided what I was going to do it on. I have a homework assignment to work on with my counselor. I'm supposed to see her on Friday. Anybody who has ADHD or autism, a lot of us have trouble working. And then we think we're crazy. This is what he does when he wants attention. He sticks his... Hi.
Hey, buddy. Oh, you're so handsome.
Sammy! Sammy! You're so handsome. You're so handsome. He's being so good. He's being so good. Yeah. He is one of these cats that he has to be an only cat. Because he's a lovey-dove when he's the only cat. But he doesn't know how to be a cat. Out of all the cats in his litter, he doesn't know how to cat. So he has very bad manners with other cats. Don't you, buddy?
Yes, but I still love you. I still love you. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep him company. And we're going to chill. And I just had to vent. I said to my baby, I'm like, we have to go. I need a pie. Right? He goes, give me a small, like, you know, they have the half pies. I'm like, he goes, give me a small pecan pie. I'm like, all right. He dropped me off because it's night and he didn't feel like going in. I ran in. I got a apple pie. I got the little table talk one since they didn't have a half a pie for the. Hi. For the. Oh, now I got his fur in my face. The pecan. So I got a little baby pecan pie. I got a big apple pie. I'm going to eat the crap out of that. I got a thing of ice cream. I got cookie dough ice cream. And I got a box of donuts. Raspberry filled. As soon as we got home, I scarfed one immediately. I'm like, I need this now. So. Yep. Yep. I'm sure she's going to have physical therapy now. He's rubbing the phone. He's claiming this is his. He's being very chill, so this is good. This is good.
Hey, buddy.
He's scared. He's scared to come into where we live because we used to have a kitty and she didn't take any of his shit. He's a little bit of a bully. Sorry, baby. I'm not talking smack about you, but we're calling it like it is. Oy vey. All right. I love you guys. As soon as I know more, I'll tell you. And, oh. Sorry I'm shaking because I have this, like, brace on. I don't know what I did to my thumb. I just had to buy that when I was at work the other night because I'm like, I'm going to pull it again. Because it was, being on your hand is not. It's just you're constantly using your hands. So that's just to kind of keep it still so it can heal. It's not a big deal. It's just more annoying. What was I going to say? I'm having like a brain fry moment from the stress. I'm okay. I really don't want to. I cannot drive into the city by myself. I'm not going to do it. But we're going to go either. We're going soon. What was I going to tell you guys? Oh. So you know how we've been talking on our lives we didn't do one this past week. And if you're a new subscriber, started doing lives on Thursdays talking about different topics about being neurodivergent, different issues we have. And then we can talk amongst ourselves as to what our sensitivities are, what our challenges are. Just kind of like emotional support for each other. None of us are therapists. None of us are counselors, but it's a place that you can come and hang out. Anytime I have a live, feel free to come and hang out. You won't be judged. You can feel free to come and unmask and be yourself. And I don't really have any I only know like maybe one or two neurodivergent people around me. So most of the people are neurotypical. And if you're struggling with ADHD or autism or both, and you have the people in your family or around you or at work are all neurotypical, we don't intend to, but we inadvertently compare ourselves to them and feel like I should be able to do these things. Why can't I do these? So if that's something that would be helpful for you, feel free to drop by the next time I do a live. And you don't have to talk. You can just kind of hang out and listen to us talk. But I'm definitely going to start doing them more often. So you're welcome to come. I'm sorry the lighting's not good. This is not how I'm normally doing it. The topic we talked about, one of the topics we talked about last time. Oh, and I do get sidetracked sometimes because of what I have. So if you come in and you catch me doing that and you want to talk about something, don't be shy. Feel free to like ask a question, be like, hey, are we supposed to talk about this? Or can we talk about this? I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry. We were talking about how a lot of us are not employed or underemployed for various reasons. If you have ADHD, it's hard to focus. It's hard, even with medication, right? So you take the medication, it's like really helpful when you start taking it, and within a matter of weeks, it doesn't feel like it's doing too much. And I'm kind of there. So, right? So it's not a fix it. I feel like I'm constantly trying different either organizing methods, or like this past week or so, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that planner thing anymore. And then last week I fell into like playing video games and watching YouTube content and going through Pinterest and doing seasonal color analysis and learning about Marilyn Monroe and all of these things and 8-hour stretches. And geez, I don't realize that 8 hours have gone by. It feels like 20 minutes to me. And I'm like, oh, I feel tired. Oh, I have a headache. Yeah, 8 hours just went by. And I didn't realize I haven't eaten all day. So if that sounds like you, you're not alone. It feels like Sisyphus, like you're constantly pushing the boulder up the mountain. And as soon as you find a hack that works, you get a dopamine boost, because then it's like, oh, I found this thing that works, and you get excited. And then after a few days or a week, it's boring, and the dopamine goes down, and you can't think straight, and suddenly the thing that was easy is now hard, and now you can't do it. And then you have to think of something else. And so yeah, it was probably good that I had... Hi! He's being so good. He's being so good. This is Sam. He's purring. Hi. He's been getting closer to me, which is good. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Oh, you're such a good boy. Before, he couldn't be bothered. But I've been going out of my... because he's so bonded to my mom. But I've been going out of my way. I'll pick him up out of her lap, and he lets me now. He lets me walk around with him, so I'm glad. So we're bonding a little bit. But yeah, he was like a one human cat. And like I said, other cats can't be around him because he will try to kill them. He'll become a little shit. Yep. But that's okay. You're the king of the castle. We love you because you're lovely to us. Unless he wants something, then he'll smack you or stick his paw in your face. So he's quite assertive. What else was I going to talk to you guys about? Oh, one of the things we talked about I guess it was 2 weeks ago, last time we did a live, was about the employment situation. And 2 of the people who are now have started to become regulars. I have a very tiny community growing, but we're gonna have more things happening soon. I'm kind of like, my symptoms sometimes interfere with my ability to stay on top of being consistent. Hi. And I keep wanting to do live streams and videos throughout the week. And then some weeks I do really good and some weeks I don't. So if you see that, don't worry. We're going to get back on track. Hi. So when I was talking with my counselor last time I saw her, I got to get in touch with her because I don't know if I'm going to be able to see her this week with what's going on with my mom in case I have to go pick her up that day. But so what we were talking about, he's rubbing against the phone. Hey, hi. You are cheering me up. Oh, you see this? My cousin made this. This is kind of cool. Let's turn it this way. Wait. Yeah, it's a lady doing yoga. How cool is that? My cousin does ceramics. I have a teapot set that she made, and the lid is a... Hi, don't go up there. Sammy! Hi, handsome. Hi, lovey. How are you? He's such a good boy. You're such a good boy today. Thank you for cheering me up. Yeah, you're not going to be lonely and scared. I'm going to hang out with you. So what I did was the last time I saw my counselor... I'm sorry I'm shaking this phone because I'm holding it with this hand that has the brace on it. I'm just like... I'm just too out of it to just go get... This is just like I'm doing this on the fly. I normally don't do this. Hi. So I had asked her... Oh, God. Yeah. You're such a good boy. Yeah. You're going to make me take my brace off. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. Hold on. Let's put this down for a second. Ah! Wait. Okay, you want to sniff that? You know, cats have to investigate everything. Oh. So, I asked my therapist. I've talked to her about this before. I had a 4-month leave of absence because I ended up having a neurodivergent burnout. I didn't know what the heck was happening. I thought I was losing my mind. I literally thought I was going to freak out on the customers. And it's just like, they don't deserve that. Hi, Sam. He's a little shit sometimes, but I love you. You aren't really. You're a good boy. Your tail is like a feather duster. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're so funny. I'm going to talk to you while I'm hanging out with him. Hi. So what I asked her, I said, well, what do neurodivergent people do for jobs? I mean, look, I've watched a lot of content. If you've seen, there's this lovely girl who, I can't remember if she's Australian or British. She has dark hair and she has I'm Autistic Now What is her channel. And she does have one where she compiled a list of many different types of jobs that would be good for neurodivergent or for autistic people. Buddy, you're going to make me start sneezing. And I've watched a lot of it. Anyway, I gotta go, man. I can't even think straight. He keeps... Dude. Oh, he's chilling. He's happy. He's happy, though. Oh, my God. He's assertive. He's just like my mom. Hey. Say hi. You gonna be an internet star? Oh, Sammy the cat. Samuel. Sammy. Sam Adams. Samson. Samuel. Oh, you're so handsome. So yeah. So one of my assignments for my counseling. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm just winging this. So this is something that I thought would be really helpful if, and some of you might have already done this, if you've been struggling trying to find a job that will not stress you out to the nines. I'm a heavy masker and I'm cashiering, and it's just, and I'm only working 1 day a week now. It doesn't make any sense. So I have to rest the next day. So I'm like, how do I even, begin, you know, because I knew if I was in the right environment, I'd be perfectly fine. So, my assignment and what this is really what I should be doing anyway, because I want to work again. And I shouldn't be a cashier. I went to nursing school. I have a phlebotomy degree. You know, there's a million things I could do. I'm tired. I've had so much schooling. I'm just tired. I'm tired of trying to figure out a career or a job. I just want to go work, make money, and go home. And not have to rest. Sorry, buddy. So what we can do is, if this helps any of you, because 2 out of the 3 people who have been coming to each of the lives, 2 of them, I think one of them has both autism and ADHD, and 2 of them have autism. And hi. Oh, ow. Am I patting you too much? Okay, I'm sorry. Incidentally, hi, honey, I'm sorry. Okay. Sometimes people get little cat info. If you're not a cat person and you think cats are assholes, they're not. I know. You're mad at me. So if you have a cat and you pat them and then they get annoyed and shortly they end up biting you, if you have a very dry environment, they get static buildup in their fur. So it doesn't take long for patting them before they start to get little static. And it's just like, you know, that feeling when you touch a light switch or a doorknob and you get shocked? They get that. And so at first it feels very good. And then they get all charged up. And then it's really annoying. And they don't like it. And they don't know that you're not intentionally doing it. Bye, buddy. So if your cat acts like a jerk, they're not being a jerk. They are just getting little static shocks that we don't realize. And it doesn't feel good. And it just like irritates them. Like our sensory issues. They get sensory issues. I think that's why I like cats so much. So yeah, everybody's challenges are different, right? So everybody who has autism or ADHD or both, we're also different from each other. There's some commonalities enough that I feel like we tend to get along and understand each other better than neurotypicals, even though like I might talk to somebody who has autism and I have ADHD. I might have autism as well, but there's a big question mark about that, and we can talk about that more soon. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's kind of complicated and it's not cut and dry, and it can be invisible with women, and especially if you have both. If you have both ADHD and autism. On the outside, because they can have opposite qualities, where a lot of people, maybe not all people, but, and let me know if I'm wrong. This is what I've heard. So I'm just learning about autism in the last like year or two. So there's so much I don't know. And the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. So I'm learning as I go. But from what I understand, autism loves structure and routines and can like things that way because it's very calming. ADHD likes novelty, low dopamine, and so we chase the dopamine. And because we're just so our thinking is disorganized as well. So we're not going to have an organized environment or organized, routines because we can't. And then if you got both, because you want to have, I want structure so bad. It's like never ending. It's like Mission Impossible. I won't give up if you guys don't. But anyway, so if you guys follow my thinking, thank you. I'm tired. I'm stressed. My brain's all over the place. So my symptoms are probably a little bit evident right now, but that's okay. That's just where I'm at. So what I was going to tell you about what you can do, and we can talk about this. Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow would be the day that I would be doing a live. But I don't know when we're going to go visit my mom. So what I'll do is, as soon as I know what's happening this week and what our schedule is, I will put it in. I'll either do a short to let you guys know, or I'll put it, keep an eye out for a post in the community section. I'll let you guys know. It's the not knowing, right? But yeah, so what the approach is right now until I can learn something else. And if you guys find anything that works for you, and trying to find a job that suits you and seems to work with your strengths versus stressing out your challenges and sensitivities. I hate having to juggle multiple things at one time. It stresses me out. I do a lot of heavy masking, which I didn't even know. But it actually makes sense because I've been in sales for decades. So it's something that I had to force. And I didn't realize that it's so conditioned in me that I just do it. And then I wonder why I'm so stressed out all the time. And I am now, at this point in my life, as I'm learning about the potential of having autism and I'm learning more about ADHD that I didn't know 25 years ago when I was diagnosed, like all these sensitivities and all these issues I have. It feels like it takes a while to filter through the past, and I don't know why. I feel like it takes months. I thought that you could just think back and be like, oh, but there's so much that I don't remember, and it's coming to me slowly. So it's really weird. It feels like being in a carnival house of mirrors, that everything I thought was a certain way wasn't. So, especially if you're trying to figure this out and you're 50. How do I deconstruct all of that? How do I see, anyway. So what the plan is, because, especially with this happening with Mom, I want to be able to make enough of an income so we don't have to worry so much, right? And it can't all be on my fiance. He can't be supporting us, I want to be taking care of my mom. And I don't know how. And you know what? I'm not the only one. I can't tell you. There's been at least 2 to 3 women who have been around my age or older who are in a similar situation, who have a lot of guilt, and they want to be taking care of their mom. And then their mom has to take care of them, and they cry over it because there's so much guilt and shame. And not having a way, I don't think it would be as emotionally heartbreaking and anxiety and guilt and fear if you have a solution, even if the solution's hard. You have okay, if I take these steps, I can get there. But the things I've tried in the past have sabotaged, and usually things that have nothing to do with me. They're outside of my control. And that's layered on top of my neurodivergent struggles. And I think that might be why I've been in retail for so long, because I think maybe subconsciously I'm afraid. If this is the one thing I can do and I don't have to stress about learning something new. But I mean, seriously, do I want to do this the rest of my life? It's stressful. I don't want to be cashier. I should be doing other things. I should live a life that I love, or that I'm okay. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to be able to buy groceries and pay rent or mortgage, whatever. And everybody is struggling. In the state I live, is very expensive. So for me, from some suggestions that I've been working through with my counselor, what I'm going to be doing is making a list of basically things that should be, things that are my triggers, things that are my sensitivities, things that I will probably require or would be better for me. For instance, I have sound sensitivity. I get triggered. Misophonia. I found out from my counselor why. Do any of you guys have the thing where you get the sound sensitivity, but it triggers rage? I swear to God, those little handheld things that beep really loud, I have thrown them. And then I'm like really embarrassed and I'm like, they're going to think I'm insane. But I almost don't care anymore because I feel like I'm assaulted by the damn thing because it's so fucking loud. It hurts and it like triggers instant rage. So, and I'm not that kind of person. So, you know, I'm not used to that. And I never had that before because we didn't have this technology before. We had the handhelds, but they were programmed from the company maybe like the last 6 months to a year. Everything, the phone rings, they go off. And the company automatically, and I have no idea, it's like some kind of algorithm or some kind of program. You can turn the volume down. At least when the phone rings, I can turn the volume down so that I can hear it, but it's not so loud that it's going to freak me out and make it so that I can't hear the customer I'm helping. I mean, I'm already hearing the self-checkouts talk over each other and then people talking and then me talking to the customer and the beeps and everything. And then the handheld, it's too much. It's too much. So imagine wiring in your house. Imagine if you were, and I know this sounds random, but imagine you go to turn on a light switch in your kitchen. And the wire goes from the light from the light switch to the light. Now, your nervous system and your neurology, neurodivergent, your nervous system is your brain, the computer, and the nerves that go through your whole body that send the sensory information to your brain. Now, I don't know yet, and I'm very interested in learning, I don't know yet if our actual nerves are wired differently or the way that our brain, because our brain functions differently and our brain is wired differently. The wiring in our brain is different. I started talking about that a little bit. It's the reticulating, oh God, I can't even remember. So for the ADHD brain, and I haven't studied the autistic brain, which I know there are some differences. My friend Genevieve, who has autism, had told me some of the differences, but she doesn't really remember, and I have to look it up. But for ADHD, your frontal lobe is a tiny bit smaller. The dopamine is lower. The connections between the different parts of your brain are different. They don't really talk to each other as well. And things that seem simple to you, especially if you're neurotypical, which means normal, regular people, like when you get ready for work or you go to get breakfast, for you, you have all these different parts of your brain. You don't realize that something that's a simple task is having a bunch of different things happen in your brain to do the one thing, like get cereal, put it in a bowl. And if those parts of your brain aren't talking to each other, it becomes complicated. A simple thing becomes complicated. And then we wonder why we're dropping things and we forget what we're doing and what am I doing, and the time blindness. And it's just like, it's a lot. Then there's the amygdala. I believe that is the emotional regulation, and some of that also has to do with either short-term memory or impulse control. And the amygdala, the frontal lobe, the reticulating something system, which is the actual high networks, the wiring between the different parts of your brain is different, sets up differently. So our brains are physically different. It's a genetic. Now, there are some people who have brain traumas who end up with a condition that is basically diagnosed as if it's ADHD, but it's caused from a head trauma and injury versus genetic predisposition or a genetic cause. Most of the time, from what I understand as of what they know right now, ADHD and autism has genetic causes, genetic links. And they tend to run in the same families, which is very interesting. About a week ago, I was starting to look up. I know they say they're not the same thing and that they're not related, but they run in the same family. So it's really interesting. For the longest time, like we have known that there is depression and bipolar and ADHD in my family. And recently I've had somebody else in my family who also has ADHD, but now has had an additional diagnosis of autism. And on the other side of my family, I have suspected, and my dad had suspected when he was alive, that he might have had autism. So I might actually have it on both sides. But in any case, I'm really sorry. I keep rubbing my nose because my cat's damn hair is all over my face. I just want to go downstairs and have my apple pie. I got cookie dough ice cream. I have to drink a shit ton of water. I haven't had dinner. Oh, wait, I did. We ate before I left. Okay. It's late now. What time is it? I'm so tired. It's 5 of 10. So as far as like, I'm tired. Decades of me trying to like figure out a career, start on that path, something sabotages it. Then I have a time period of a number of years where I fall back into retail and then I go a different path. And it's just like, can I just freaking do something and it work? So I want to be smarter and I want to pick something. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to love it. I just don't want to hate it. I don't want to fear it. I don't want to have stress about it. I don't want to be sick while I'm getting ready for work because I don't want to deal with the stress of it. And I don't want to be in bed the whole next day. And I don't want something that's going to drain me so much that I only work 1 day a week. This is not sustainable. And the high percentage of people who have ADHD or autism or both that are unemployed or underemployed is obscene. I had no idea until like the last month or so. It is not okay. It is absolutely not okay. So what can we do about it? Well, we can't make ourselves not neurodivergent, right? We can't change who we are and we can't change our challenges. And it's one of these things that you may not be able to disclose it to the people you work with, especially if you have autism and one of the challenges is communication. And so no matter where you work, that might be a thing that follows you from place to place and you're just tired. You're tired of dealing with the anxiety of the office politics. Like for me, I was able to kind of learn it in my 20s. I can't stand it, but if I had to do it, I could fake it. And like if it was like an office environment, I get it. I understand, but I hate feeling small. I hate making myself feel small to fit into a corporate environment, to fit into the hierarchy. It's stupid. There's no reason for it. You know, I would like for our culture to evolve. I mean, you have to work 9 to 5. You have to work 5 days a week. Does it matter? Like, what if you wanted to work 14 hours one day and then you wanted a day? Like, it shouldn't matter as long as you put in the right amount of hours and you get stuff done and you're productive. You know, people who are neurodivergent, especially ADHD, you could hyper-focus. You could get like 3 days worth of work done in one day. And then you're exhausted for a couple days. Like, how are you supposed to fit into a neurotypical world, right? So we're going to start with, for me, and I don't know, I'm very curious. So I did want to update you guys on what was going on in my household. I didn't really talk too much about this past week, just kind of updated you a little bit. I want to get back on a schedule where I'm doing lives and videos. I would like to do lives more often than once a week. I was having so much fun that I was losing track of time and on there for 4 hours, so they're kind of long. Don't feel like you have to be on there the whole time. And if you guys get tired and want to go, go. And if you just want it for like an hour, or if a different day is better, just let me know. But I was thinking we could do like a powwow. We could put our heads together and try to come up with some ideas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of my sensitivities and the things that tend to bring me to burnout. Me personally. It might be different for you. So for me, loud, piercing, triggering noises. I have the sensory processing issues with sound. I have some with touch, but it's not terrible. It's not something that triggers me in a work environment. I make sure that I wear comfortable clothes. It's more when I'm getting ready, because if the things I try on, then I'm like trying on 10 things. Luckily, I have like a uniform and I already pick it. I already know what I'm going to wear. Sometimes I'm walking in circles forgetting where I put stuff. And I lose track of time and I'm always late, but so for me, it is sound sensitivity. I'd like to have a little bit more autonomy. I do much better in those jobs. When I was a beauty department manager and I could just come and go, I can get stock and put it on the shelf. I do have a back issue, and it's not terrible right now, but so that's a thing too, is that whatever job I consider, it can't be something that I'm lifting patients. It can't be something that, and the reason why I'm talking about this happens to be my particular issues, but I was wondering, so Ego Shredder and Hakan, you guys, and anybody else who, I don't know if you guys are thinking about going back to work, if that's something that you wanted to do or not. And anybody else who has been out of work or working only a day a week, or because you burned out and you feel insane and you want a better life. We deserve a better life. We deserve to work. We're just as capable, if not more, in some ways than everyone else. And then, of course, we have shortcomings that they don't. But whatever. We're going to make it work somehow. Sensory issues. Back. Not be micromanaged. If I wasn't stressing out about work, I probably wouldn't be late. I mean, I've always had some lateness issues, but it's the stress. When I'm starting to stress getting work, before I had my burnout, it was bad. Every time I was getting ready for work, I'd have a knot in my stomach so bad. I'd start to get nauseous, and I'd start to get an anxiety attack. And I felt insane, and I didn't understand why. Because I'm like, it's cashiering. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's challenging to not be drained by it. It's challenging to sometimes deal with the behaviors on the days that you have rude customers. Luckily, a lot of them are not. Yeah, there's a lot of awesome customers. And that's the thing that makes me love it. When I worked in an office, you don't get to be like, part of my job is socializing with people. That's the thing that kind of stinks, is because I love socializing with people. I really want that connection. And then once I'm home, I don't want to talk to people. But then when I go to work and I see people I care about and I miss, like coworkers, and I love my bosses. I love the people I work with, and I love the customers, and they'll come in to say hi to you. That makes me so happy, right? How awesome is that? And then when you have the days that somebody comes in and they're not feeling good, and or somebody who's having a hard time walking around, and you can help bring their stuff to their car, how awesome is that? That's going to be me someday. This isn't about pity. This is empathy. This is, I'm helping you. Hopefully somebody can help me sometime. We're all just as important. We're all at different stages. We will all go through suffering in different ways. We will all have different physical ailments and illnesses throughout our lives. There's no reason why I can't help somebody if they need help. And it makes me feel good. I'm rambling. I miss you guys. Sorry, I've been like in my head this week. I've fallen into my head. I went through a hyper-focus week. I've been thinking about it's spring, and I wanted to start bringing some of my summer clothes and my spring clothes and put it in my closet. And then I started doing my colors again. Oh dear God, why did I do that? Why? So for those of you who are new to learning about neurodivergence, you may have heard the term special interests. Special interest, something becomes a special interest when it crosses the threshold of just being an interest or a hobby into being all-consuming. And it's a passion, and you love it, and you could just only, if you get into it and that's all you want to do is talk about that thing or work on that thing. And if you were to hang out or go to like a family gathering and they're talking about superficial things, and you're like, oh my God, who cares about the weather? And it's always the same stuff. And you're like, this is so not interesting. And all you're interested in is that thing that you're passionate about. One of mine is seasonal color analysis, because I had it done when I was a teenager. And every year or two, last couple years, it's been every 6 months. Usually like before the spring and in the fall, I'll dig out all my swatches. And yeah, I'll have to do a video about that if you guys are interested. And I can teach you, ladies and gentlemen who are interested, if you would like to know what colors are your colors that look good on you. And you might think, who cares? Yeah, we can wear all the colors. But certain colors, this is not about colors not to wear. But certain colors will make you look younger, and they will make you glow. So especially if you're going to be going on an interview and you do want to make a good impression, certain colors are going to do that for you. So it's kind of fun. I have three different, actually 4 different systems. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I've been so interested in it over the years. I had my color analysis done by Beauty for All Seasons in the 90s, and they use, what was their system? I think it's CA, Color Alliance. So theirs was very specific. Before they, you used to hear about just, oh, you're an autumn, you're a spring, you're a summer, whatever, and it being too general. Well, the Color Alliance system had like at least half a dozen different kind of autumns. So as far as you want something that is very specific to your colors, if they still do that anywhere, look, and you're interested and you don't mind spending a couple $100 and you actually want to have your colors done. Most guys don't, but if you do, you can as well. They just look great on you, and it saves you a shit ton of money. I think it helps women in the sense that, as you get older, you don't want to do things according to fashion. Especially if you're neurodivergent, a lot of us will find something we like. Tell me if this is you. We'll find something we like, and we will buy 10 of them in 10 different colors, right? Because we don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it, right? So for me, I will find a brand of jeans now that I'm older. I really only need like 1 or 2 pairs of jeans. And then I have like yoga pants that I wear around the house. But when I go out, I really don't go out a whole lot. So that's fine. Oh my God, I have so many clothes to go through. I have bags of clothes in storage that I need to purge. That's another thing is I was wondering, you know, I've talked to you guys about body doubling. So if you struggle with cleaning and you're disorganized, please send me a message. I want to do it, but I've been a little insecure about it because it's kind of boring. But if that's something that'd be interesting to you, I can do a live or I can do a video where I start to clean out my stuff, and it's kind of embarrassing to me because it's a mess, but I haven't wanted to ask people for help because I'm embarrassed that I can't clean my stuff out because I remember being organized, and right now I am not. Yeah. But back to the career stuff. So I have to make a list of the things that contribute to burnout or that would be a bad fit for me, right? And then I'm going to write a list of all the types of jobs I've done and all the types of jobs I've thought about doing. And this is kind of something I'm doing on my own. When I talk about like a homework assignment from my counselor, she's awesome. She's also neurodivergent, which is very helpful. So I can just be myself when I talk to her. And I'm basically driving the ship, driving the car of my own life. And she's letting me I'm running the show, but she's there to support me. And she helps me when I'm trying to figure out something new that I want to try or do as far as therapy or, you know, how to work towards my different structures or hacks to try to help with my ADHD so that they don't interfere with my work in my daily life as much, because I will make myself sick. Like this week, I was run down. I wanted to rest for a day or two, but I didn't mean to mess my whole week up. I was like staying up till 5 a.m. What? That's not good. And then I make myself sick. So here I was trying to give myself a few days to rest, to feel better. No. I fell off the wagon. I fell off the ADHD. Took me a long time to get any kind of structure. None. But I'll tell you what, it's good though. It's good because making myself sick like that makes me go, oh, it makes me actually want to have a bedtime. Because besides that, and I resist it like some little kid that's being told to go to bed. And I'm like, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. But if I make myself sick like that for a whole week, I'm like, oh, this isn't fun. So I already had a reminder. Luckily YouTube, if YouTube ever asks you, if you have the same issues as me and you get sidetracked and you lose humongous chunks of time. I have the time blindness. Not everybody does. I'm not sure. I know that people with autism also hyperfocus as well and can go down rabbit holes and lose time. And you guys, some of you can have executive functioning issues as well when you can become paralyzed trying to set priorities. And let me know how executive functioning issues might be different from you from the executive functioning issues that I might have, because that would be kind of interesting. And anything that I learn that helps me, I'll share with you guys and vice versa. And I think, you know, one of the things was I thought, when I first started, I thought, you know, there were so many. Hi, he's coming to say hi to me. Hello, he's back. I'm going to try not to give you too much static, okay? Because, yeah,
Oh my god, he's so handsome. He's so handsome. Hi, beautiful. He's handsome and he knows it. Look at how pretty he is. Hi. Okay. I can tell you're getting annoyed. He's starting to swish his tail. So cats, if you're interested and you want to learn about cats, I'll tell you why they're little. If you think they're jerks, they're already telling you things. And they think that you don't care. So they get mad. So yeah, pay attention to their body language. And if you're interested in that, oh yeah, special interests that I've had in my life, on and off, that have taken over. Like taken over, sometimes months, sometimes years of my life, because I love them that much. Astrology, have studied it off and on. I'm like intermediate level. Yeah. I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a professional, but I don't really do, I could look up almost anything. If there's something I don't know, I could look it up and I'd understand it. When I first started, I had to understand the language. So when I first got all those astrology books, they're overwhelming. And if you're interested in learning about that, and you get a book and you get overwhelmed and it doesn't make sense to you, that's just part of it. So don't feel bad. Astrology, color analysis, anything beauty, skincare, henna. I get obsessed with henna because henna is freaking awesome. And if you want to strengthen your hair, but you don't want to dye it red, there's another plant that you can get called cassia. They nickname it neutral henna. So you can mix it with some, I don't know if you need hot water for that. I know that you need, well, depending on how you prepare the henna, and I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole because I'll bore you to tears. But the cool thing about henna, if you like chemistry, if you're a science geek, is the molecule in henna loves your hair, loves keratin. So the lawson molecule is chemically attracted to your hair. Where, ow, my hand, ow. Ugh. So yeah, hair dye. I'm not going to bore you guys, but hair dye. So you know how hair dye dyes your hair? Very quick. So they use ammonia, and if they don't have ammonia, they have some other chemical in there. Don't be fooled. There's going to be some other chemical that is an alkaline agent, and it's got to be strong enough to force the keratin open. So if you were to look up the structure of a strand of hair, it has all these scales on it. Now your hair, oh God, his hair is, oh my God, he shed. Oh! Sorry. So the keratin, they're like in individual strands of hairs. If you were to look under a microscope or even look up a diagram of what it looks like, there's all these little scales. And like if you were to take a shower, anything really hot causes them to open up a little bit. So that's why if you dye your hair red and it fades from the hot water, that's why, because red is a large color molecule. So it wants to leave. So think about it this way. You've got either ammonia or some other agent that is purposely damaging your hair. It has to. So it forces open the keratin, because it's the only way to do it, is to damage it, because the color doesn't want to be in there. And then the developer, which is actually peroxide, it is a bleach. They say it's bleach free, but developer is a type of bleach. It is a peroxide. That goes in. So the ammonia or that part forces the keratin protein open, damages it. So now there's some cracks, and now the peroxide can go in and take out the natural dark melanin that's in your hair, and creates a space for the hair dye to actually be deposited in there. You're destroying your hair in order to color it. And then over time, the molecules don't like to be in there. Unless it's like dark or black, then you can't get it out. If you dye your hair black and your roots get this long, and you get some kind of box hair dye and you throw it on top, that dark hair dye ain't going anywhere. And you're going to have hot roots. Go to a hairdresser or do yourself a favor and get a box of Color Oops. Get the dark hair dye out, then color your hair. Ask me any questions. I'm not a hairdresser, but I have had an entire lifetime of bad hair color experiences, and I have learned a lot. I colored my hair my whole life until the last couple of years. My mom's cancer, multiple myeloma, is actually associated with exposure to dark brown hair dye. I don't know if you knew that. They don't have evidence or proof because they really can't. Because they know there's a correlation, but they can't prove causation. Because there could be other factors, like there could be immune system or could be genetic factors that predispose you, but there's some kind of link between the dark hair dye. And my mom started going gray very, very young, either in her teens or 20s. So dark brown hair dye my mom has been using for decades, until like maybe the last decade or so, at least since she's gotten cancer. She stopped dyeing her hair. She does not think that that has anything to do with it. I don't know. But the irony is that I was already geeking out on all that stuff because I love hair and makeup and all of that stuff. And one of the managers in the store that worked with me, one of the shifts was, she was a hairdresser. So she and I would put our heads together. If a customer came to me and had questions about hair, if there was something I didn't know, I could always talk to her. I could bring her over, have her talk to them. So she was a licensed hairdresser. And I know some things. Henna will not make you sick. Henna will not get you cancer. Henna is a plant. Now, it's been over an hour. I gotta go. I'm tired, man. But I will say, there's a caveat. Do yourself a favor. I'm going to give you a warning before you ever use henna. Wait till I do a thing about it. Go do your research. Also, if you do buy some henna, do yourself a favor. Please do a strand test. Because that stuff is not going to come out of your hair. They say you don't date henna, you marry it. Because when it's there, it's there. Which is great if you like to dye your hair red. Like I do. I can dye my hair red with henna and that shit will stay in there a year. You tell me one woman who dyes her hair red who does not have to dye her hair red in a few more weeks because it comes out of her hair. And if you like to dye your hair red and keep it that way, that's your color, consider it. But do not just buy any henna. Hairdressers know what I'm talking about. There are brands that call themselves henna and market themselves as henna. And they may have a little henna in there, but there's all these chemicals in there. If there's a whole bunch of different colors and you look at the ingredients and you don't see one ingredient, Lawsonia inermis, I think that's how you say it. If there's a bunch of shit in there and you don't know what it is, do not buy it. You can do it if you want to. I don't know if it's okay. That you have to talk to your doctor about or learn about on your own. I don't know. It might be fine. Maybe it's better than regular hair color, but that is the shit that has the bad reputation. You put that stuff on your hair and then you decide you don't like it anymore. You ever hear the hairdresser say, don't do it because you dye on top of it and there's some horrible chemical reaction? Guess what happens? You go to the hairdresser, you lie to them, you be like, I didn't use henna. There's nothing in it. And you don't tell them. And it has metallic salts in there. You know what happens? They put that shit, that hair dye is not technically, oh God. I'm not allergic to cats, but oh God, his hair is so long. This is really itching my nose. You henna your hair with that shit, and then you get tired of it and it's still in there, and you go to get a box dye, you know what's going to happen to your hair. You go to the hairdresser, you don't tell them, you know what happens to your hair. That shit starts to smoke. Your hair is probably going to fall out. It's going to turn green. There's a chemical reaction that's going to happen on your head. That's why the hairdressers tell you to stay the hell away from henna. But if you just buy a bag of henna and there's one ingredient and it's henna, that is perfectly safe. But make sure it's actually henna. And that's it. If you want recommendations for brands, if you're interested in henna, using henna on your hair, I can do a couple videos about that, and I can educate you on the stuff that I know, and I can give you some references of some different websites of people who actually know, like, about the chemistry, which is really cool. Really fucking cool. And you know why it's cool? And if you don't want the red Ducacia, that's another plant. They are protein treatments. You know how when your hair gets really overprocessed and it's starting to fall out, or, you know, you've done so much and it's damaged, and then you go to the hairdresser for a protein treatment? Henna is a plant. You know how when you have tea, you drink a cup of tea, it's just tea leaves that are ground up into a powder? So henna is the Lawsonia inermis. I forget exactly the technical name of the plant. It grows, I want to say, like in India, Morocco, and I can't remember where else. Rajasthani henna tends to have a higher lawson content. No, this is just off of the top of my head. So the color's a little bit different. Henna's a lot like tea and coffee, in the sense that, you know how, like, if you really get into coffee, when I worked in Starbucks, different coffee that comes from different regions, like coffee from Brazil, coffee from Hawaii, Sumatran coffee, all these different places, it tastes a little different because the plant is grown in a different climate with different soil and different conditions, because it's a natural plant, right? So the taste is different, the quality is different. So henna is a little bit different. It's the same plant. It has the same exact chemical. It's that lawson content. The plant's called, the scientific name for the henna plant, it's a little tree or a shrub. And the leaves, they take the leaves and they dry them and they ground them into a powder. And so when you open the bag, it's like a green powder. And some people don't like the smell. But I'll tell you what, you may not like the smell. It smells like hay. Some people like it. I'm not a huge fan, but I can put that stuff on my head. You basically mix it with some water, and I'll mix some tea with it. If you can put something acidic, that helps it get into your hair better. Some people put in lemon juice. I'm not going to get in a huge thing. I've already talked too much about it. Lemon juice. Some people do apple cider vinegar. Some people do coffee. I will tell you what, though. There is one person. Go to one website I do recommend. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. But I do geek out on the science of it because I think it's very cool. If you want to learn about the science of the plant, of the lawson molecule, and what it does and how it gets into your hair, and how it strengthens your hair, and it makes your hair healthier, and it's good for you. It's good for your scalp. I can't remember if it's anti-inflammatory, but it's antibacterial, it's antifungal. It's awesome. It's good for your scalp. It does. The downside is that it's messy. It's like mud. So you basically, I like to use hot water or warm water because then the dye releases quicker. Some people will, you know, depending, some people from those countries, they have like recipes that have been passed down in their family, and you can make it. There's like so many different ways you can make it. For me, I've learned to put some honey I like to put honey in mine, and I'll tell you why. Because that shit will dry. You ever do a mud mask on your face? And then it's like cement on your face? It's kind of hard to get out of your hair, right? So one of the tricks I had to learn about is if you mix honey with it, honey is a humectant. It holds in moisture, so it won't get like cement. It's a little tricky to get out. You just fill up your tub with water and you get in there and you just let the water soak, and then it'll make the tub like red. And it's kind of like a clay red. It's not like unnatural bloody murder red hair dye that looks like this. It's not like that. It's really cool. So the dye molecule is in the leaf, and you can use hot water, and the dye molecule will release quicker. Some people put lukewarm water and they mix it up, and it looks like pea soup because it's just a leaf, right? It's that pea soup green. It sounds gross, but it's not. It's just leaves mixed with water. And you set it aside. If you're using regular lukewarm water, some people will just like use a plastic bowl. Don't use metal. Some people use metal. It'll just make it black. I think it still dyes your hair the same way, but yeah, I don't mess around with metal. You get a plastic mixing bowl. Throw in some of the powder. I can't remember how much water. It's not difficult. Some people just use water and henna, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I'll mix in some. I might do my hair tomorrow. I was going to do it this week. I was thinking of recording it so you guys can see me as a mud head. Yeah, it looks really bad, and it looks funny because then I'll have bags over my head, and oh my god, it looks horrible. Because then you wrap you wrap a bag around it to hold it all in. Oh, I'll take these things in my hair. Yeah, and I leave it on my hair a long time. A long time. The longer you leave it in, the darker it'll get. It does not bleach your hair. It's natural, so it cannot lighten your hair. So if you want a specific color, there are 3 plants. I know I've said too much already. There's cassia. They nickname it neutral henna. So if you see neutral henna, just check the ingredients. Like I said, if it has a bunch of shit in there and you don't know what that is, don't buy it. Or you can. Oh my god, guys. It's going to drive me nuts. I got to go wash my face. My nose is so itchy. Thank you. I really needed to get my mind off of that with my mom. I'm all over the place. Thank you guys for supporting me. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to get through this together. All of our different struggles. I'm tired of dealing with this stuff alone. I don't want anyone to do the work for me. I want to do the work to fix my life and do all of these things and find a life that works for me. I know it doesn't have to be perfect, and the struggles I have are not going to magically go away. They're still going to be there. But if I make choices now aware of what my hardships are, hopefully I can find something. I am really stressed about it, though. Wait a minute. What was I going to say about the henna before I switch course again? Yeah, stay away from the other stuff. It's got metallic salts. If you use that stuff, just do not use hair dye. Because you will have that scary-ass chemical reaction and your hair will smoke and fall out and turn green. Do you want that? I don't know. I don't want that. I don't know if it'd burn your scalp. It's like, that's some scary stuff right there. You're going to have some Frankenstein hair. Or you're going to be bald. I don't know. So if you do get that, because that's at your natural food store. They have a line at like Whole Foods. It's been a good 10 years, I think, since I've been to Whole Foods. And I know that they have some semi-natural. But and there was a woman who worked there who said that she uses it all the time and it's fine. Don't go by me because I've never used it. Just know, it's your head. It is your hair. It is your responsibility. Don't come at me. I gave you the warning. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a hairdresser. I'm sorry. I don't want to scare you guys. Just, yeah. If you do that, now you're stuck with that. And you can keep using that if you want. But if you change your mind and you decide you want to color your hair on top of that later on, or even to just bleach, I would not do that. Because it's that or it's hair color. You can't do both. There's metallic salts in those. They use some kind of ingredients. They call them metallic salts, and they chemically react with hair dye, peroxide, all the regular hair colors, which if you get tired of it, you can just dye with regular hair dye. You get tired of it, you can dye it again. I mean, within reason. You can always go to the hairdresser and have them fix it. Henna does not come out. I don't mind though, because I love it. It's a pretty copper color. Henna cannot lighten your hair. It can stain it. It can only make your hair darker. So it's kind of dark in here. You can't see it, but I have been lightening it a little bit. Now it's getting too light. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. I haven't decided. My fiance got me for my birthday either this year or the last year, and it's still good. I checked. And it honestly, henna, even if it's past the expiration, that just means like maybe the dye won't be as potent, so maybe it won't be as dark, but it'll still work. It's still good. Henna's freaking awesome. Henna, cassia, and indigo. Those are the 3 plants that will impart a color to your hair. Hennaforhair.com. If I think, I probably won't. I think I'm just going to upload this the way it is. Hennaforhair.com. HennaForhair.com. You don't have to buy their henna. They have an entire line. But what I really, oh my God, when I was first learning about henna, like a decade or so ago, oh my God, I love henna so much. I was so scared. And I had heard those horror stories. So I did a shit ton of research and I went obsessively down that rabbit hole. I studied it for like 6 months before I ever put it on my head. Yep, and I did strand tests. I kept some hair from when I cut it, and I made little hair swatches, and I can show you how to do that if you know, ladies out there, if you want to learn how to do that and you save pieces of your hair from when you cut it, if you cut your own hair like I do, you can. And I can show you how if you want. I don't know if anybody that watches me, because I do content about ADHD, I don't know if anybody would have the same interests as me. This might be boring to everybody. But anybody who is interested in beauty and natural beauty, yeah, I can talk forever on it. It's really good for you, and it's good for your health. It's kind of yucky, and it takes forever. But for me, that's a solid investment. I'm not going to get cancer from that. There's no chemicals. The one that I buy, sometimes it will have henna by itself, or it will have a mix. If I do, so the brands that I have tried are Jamila, and they come in a little box, and there's a picture of a girl, and they've been around forever. And you can get regular Jamila, or you can get, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right. I think I'm remembering it right. It's been a while. It's been a while since I used that. And there's a whole thing where you can actually look at the date of when it was harvested. And it's kind of like tea. You know, when tea gets stale, it's okay, but it tastes a little different. It's not as potent. It's just not, it's like, okay. So yeah, if you get some that are from like the previous year, a crop from the previous year, or maybe the one before, it will cost less. So you can get a good deal, but you might have to process it twice. So I don't know. If you're impatient and you don't want to set it out all night in lukewarm water to wait for the dye to release, that's the orange molecule that's in the henna leaves. If you just put water in there and it's lukewarm and you cover it with saran wrap You can put it near a heater if you want, somewhere warm, or you can just put it in a cupboard somewhere. It will release the dye, but you might have to wait 8 hours. When you first mix it with the water, it looks pea soup green. I know that's not pleasant sounding. It kind of looks like this. It kind of looks like that. And then it turns into a rusty orange color. And then you'll see, because like the next day when you go to peel off the saran and you take a plastic spoon, or like you can use a whisk that's coated in rubber. I have some whisks that have that so I can stir it up and not have to worry about the reaction with the metal. You'll see on the top, it will have this orange that on the top. And then you stir, then the dye is released and you can put it on your head. And then it'll work. So that's what you want to do. It's not hard. It just can be a pain. It's messy. You're basically putting a mud mask on your scalp. Yeah. It's messy. It stains. Hair dye does that as well. You put enough water or tea. I will make hibiscus tea. Oh God, this must be so boring for you guys. I will use a fruit tea because it's got some of the citrus from the tea. If you have some vitamin C in there, I think it kind of helps prevent some of the oxidation from it turning from like a red into a brown. And some people use lemon juice. If you use straight lemon juice and you don't use water mixed in with it, you can. Some people do that, but it's so drying to your hair. It's a lot. Some people swear by it. There's like so many recipes. If you go on YouTube and you just type in how I henna my hair, everybody's got their own way. And some of the really nice women from India who have some awesome videos, and they're showing you like recipes that have been passed down to them. Very cool. And they put it in a metal bowl, so I don't really know. And they'll put like an egg in there. If there's anybody who's taken modeling classes, when I was young, I did modeling. And in the classes that you take, I did it with John Casablancas and Elite Modeling. Back in the day, Elite was the company that had like some of the supermodels, like I can't remember if Christy Turlington, what's her name? She has the skincare line, the infomercials you see now. She looks like she hasn't aged a bit. Brunette, dark eyes. I'll think of it. I'm just tired. How did I get down that rabbit hole? Oh, so when you take those classes, they'll teach you natural masks to do because it's in their interest to teach you how to take care of your skin. It's in their interest to teach you how to do your own makeup. So if you do those classes, yeah, sometimes it feels like a scam because they're expensive. I did get some headshots and body shots out of it, but it would pay me, I would have to pay extra to have have them developed. So I just have the strips from back in the day. Maybe I'll do a show and tell sometime if you want. You wouldn't recognize me. I have really short bleached hair. This was like back in the early 90s. It's crazy. It's crazy. I look like a different human. But anyway, yeah, I was 19. But yeah. You can do a face mask with an egg white, some lemon juice, and honey. And that will help dry out for oily skin. You could do one that is just plain yogurt and it has a lactic acid. You could also mix some honey with that. That holds some of the moisture, and it's a humectant for dehydrated skin, which is different from, I'm going to go down a skin rabbit hole, so I'm not going to go there. But dehydrated and dry skin are two different things. For ladies who are looking for skincare products, if you think your skin is dry, because dry skin and dehydrated skin look the same, but they're very different. If you get a product and it says dry skin and it has a lot of oils, and you put that shit on your skin and it doesn't go in, it doesn't rehydrate your skin and it clogs your pores, your skin is dehydrated, and you know to get the dehydrated one because that puts some water back in. They look the same, but they're not. So yeah, honey is a humectant. It holds water. It's got to be the sugar content. Honey also has some natural peroxide in it, which is going to lighten your hair just a tiny bit, so it helps to make it a little bit more vibrant. So when I do my mix, I do the fruit tea. It's the berry one. I can't remember, but it's got hibiscus, which is acidic. But it's not going to give you a headache like apple cider vinegar. And it's not going to make your hair crunchy and feel destroyed like the lemon juice. You could mix some if you want to. I don't know. Everybody's different. It doesn't have to be complicated. The first time I did it, I went crazy and I put in an egg. Your hair will feel silky. You put an egg in that. I know it sounds gross. Trust me. You've got some of the fat from the egg yolk and the protein from the egg. And then also a yogurt that's acidic. And I mixed that. Oh my God, guys. When I rinsed that stuff out, it was amazing. Now, oh, it's a humidifier. I'm like, where's the smoke coming from? The thing, though, is the henna is attracted to protein, which I didn't know at the time. So if you put eggs in there and you put yogurt in there, it's still going to dye it, but the dye might last a little less long, or it might be some of it's going to go to the protein in the egg, maybe, or the protein in the yogurt. I'm making this more complicated. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the saying. I know that's not politically correct anymore, but that's the saying. KISS. Me, I use the hibiscus tea with the berries. That's my acid, and it's not going to crunch your hair up, and it's not going to give you a freaking headache. Vinegar will give you a freaking headache, and I don't know, they swear by it. The thing that's really cool, you go to the hennaforhair.com, and she has articles on there, and she's done this research, and it actually shows you how the molecule, I think she has a diagram, how the molecule goes in and builds up the hair. Sometimes some sources will say it just coats the outside of the hair, but no, it works its way into the cortex, the inside of the hair, and it strengthens your hair. When you first rinse it out, it will feel dry, but it's not, because it's still developing, and it takes a couple days to fully darken. So it's a completely different ball game from a regular hair. I don't know what happened, but it's already a really long video, and I'm starting to run out of room on my phone again, so I'm going to go. There's a bunch of things I have to delete. So if you do henna your hair, I just mix in some tea. I do boil the tea, and I let it cool down just a little bit, so it's still hot or very, very, very warm, but not scalding. And then the dye will release like right away. And I'm impatient. I'll just let it cool down. By the time it cools down, I don't have to let my stuff set. And the tea works very well for the acid, so it releases the dye. It helps the dye. It helps the molecule really want to go in there. So it accelerates that reaction. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't sting. It doesn't burn your scalp the way hair dye does. It doesn't give you a headache the way, oh God, hair dye. It just smells like wet hay. If you don't hate the smell, but look at the smell of hair dye. And then I put in honey. I will do, so 1 pack of hair henna That's the equivalent of 1 box of hair dye if you want to do this. We'll talk more. I've already talked for a long time about this. I'm very sorry. Let me know if anybody's interested. I'll walk you through it. I'll walk you through it. We can do a live. You can do it with me if you want. 1 box of, it's like 100 grams or 100 milligrams. I forget. 1 box of 100 grams or milligrams, whatever it is like 1 box of hair dye. That's it. And it's the same exact thing. So if you have it below, just like when you dye your hair with regular hair dye, ladies, anything that's below shoulder length is going to be more than 1 box because you want to have enough to get through your whole hair. So anything from here down, unless the package says otherwise, better to use 2. And then if it's the middle of your back to your waist, 3. But most people don't have hair that long. And then you put enough liquid so it's the consistency of yogurt, thick yogurt. You don't want it runny and it's dripping everywhere. That's it. And then I put the equivalent of like a couple, like 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 of honey. I forget the amount. It doesn't really matter. Just throw a bunch in there. Whisk it all up. Shampoo. Do not condition. It's actually the opposite. You know, hair dye, it's better to have dirty hair because it protects the oils protect your scalp, because the dye basically goes in and destroys your hair and goes right through it. This is the same thing as when you paint furniture, you paint a wall, and you know how you have to like clean all the grease off so that the paint adheres. This is a stain. It chemically is attracted to your hair. It wants to be there. Don't do the coffee. This particular website, Henna for Hair, she explains there is another thing too, is where you can look up the different types of acids and they kind of change the color slightly. Apple cider, even just juice. You can use orange juice. You can use lemon juice. You could use cider. Some people don't use wine because you'll get drunk. I'm not joking. I am not joking. Some people put wine in there and they say that, and she said, like, all the things that we think that we have heard over time, like coffee. And before I ever did this, when I was younger, I used like a blueberry mixture and I tried to dye my hair and it didn't want to stay. It turns out that these things, yes, they dye paper. Yes, they dye fabric, but the chemical, the dye chemical that is in the berries is not attracted to keratin. So it coats it, but then eventually it's just going to wash out. Henna is attracted to your hair and it wants to go in there. It's like, yeah, we love it. And then you have to destroy it. It is awesome. It's awesome. The reason why you don't want to use coffee's transdermal. From that website, hennaforhair.com, and I'm not selling her site. I just really liked the articles that she has. And I haven't been there in a long time, so I can't tell you where to go. And hopefully it's the same way. I haven't been to that site in a long time, like years. So hopefully it's the same. I can't remember the name of her brand. But yeah, there's different kind of acid powders from different fruit and different things that you can purchase from them that you could use not only in your henna mix, but you can use that if you have hard water and you have like mineral buildup in your scalp. You can actually kind of you can take vitamin C tablets and crush them up into a powder, because vitamin C is a chelator. I forget how to pronounce that correctly. That will help break down some of the hard water, like the deposits that can build up in your scalp if you have hard water. But yeah, henna powder, hibiscus tea, honey. Mix that shit up. Let it sit until it's not going to burn you. Like I said, don't pour it in scalding hot. I think it doesn't work as well if you do that. I think where it ends up being like a brown color. I don't remember exactly. I mean, you can if you want to. There's no rules. Experiment. And every time you do it, it will make your hair darker. It cannot lighten your hair. It just coats on each other. So you can actually take the whatever's left that you don't use and stick it in a bag and put it in the freezer. I'm not joking. That's what ladies do. If you get too much henna left over, you put that shit in a freezer bag and you stick it in the freezer. And when it's time to do your roots, you can put like small amounts in little individual sandwich bags for the amount that you need to do your roots and do that. Women do that. It's awesome. But you only thaw it the one time because then the dye won't work. If you put it back in the freezer again, it won't work. But yeah, you can put that stuff. It will stay. I had some that I put in my freezer and I forgot about, and I think I used it 6 months. It's supposed to be good for 6 months. I think I used it a year later and it was fine. It still works. It's just a plant, so you don't have to worry about chemicals. Some people will take it and put it in like ice cube trays, and they'll just take them and put them in a bag, and then they'll only thaw out a few, and they know how much. It's really cool. hennaforhair.com. They tell you all about this stuff, and they also explain why coffee and berries. People say berries will help the red go into more burgundy. It turns out it doesn't dye. It's not attracted to the keratin, so it doesn't matter. But people think that because it's been passed down that way. What else? Coffee. People swear by coffee, says it pushes it to like a more brunette. It doesn't really, though, from what she was saying. But in either case, it turns out the caffeine is transdermal. You put coffee in that mix, guess what? You're going to get the jitters. You can give yourself a headache. You better have some water. I love you guys. Thanks for letting me ramble on about henna and shit. Oh my God, my nose is driving me crazy. So yeah, it'd be really cool to learn about like how you want to start sorting through what you want to do for a job. I think this says 12 minutes, that I only have 12 minutes room on my phone, and I'm about 9. So once I post this, I got to delete it. I will give you guys an update when I find out more, like what my schedule's going to be when I find out what's going on with Mom. So yeah, if this is something that's interesting to you, if you have felt so discouraged, and I know I've talked to a few people that have said this to me, they have been so discouraged from all the negative interactions and experiences that they've had in the workplace that they haven't been employed for years and they're afraid to go back. If you are, and that sounds like you, whether you have ADHD or autism or both, start writing down a list. You can do this with me, and then when we do a live, we can all get together and talk about it. So if this sounds interesting and you want to try it, do a list of your sensitivities and your challenges with your particular neurodivergence. Whether it's communication, like not being able to pick up on, understanding neurotypicals and how they misunderstand you, or people don't like you because they sense you're different, and that's being a problem. Jot that down. Any of your sensory issues, any of the things that have really been a challenge or hurt you in jobs, write all those down. And then on another list, write all the different kinds of jobs that you have, or different career fields you've thought about doing that you're interested in. And then another list you make of things that would be good for you. Now, when you start evaluating and checking things against these lists, yeah, it's overwhelming. Yeah, you have to go step by step. Yeah, you're probably not going to be doing it all at once. And it's not going to be perfect. But hopefully we'll be able to find something better that we can actually work and not hate ourselves. I gotta go. I love you guys. Oh my God, it's 11. You guys probably won't see this until tomorrow. I don't know how long this monstrosity is. I haven't seen you guys. I'll talk to you in a couple weeks, so I love you. I'll talk to you later.